class. So, today we have a very cool lesson, in my opinion, very interesting lesson, because we're learning about Piplup. Now, get over here. Lazy little boy. Here he is. This is a very, very big Piplup, as you can see. Now, this one is definitely an XXL Piplup. Piplups are usually around 40 centimeters tall, which is around 1 foot and 4 inches. Now this one, as you can see, is also a very lazy one. Piplups are usually more active than this one too. Anyways, Piplup is a water type Pokemon, and it is known as the penguin Pokemon. As you can see, it is a penguin. As you can see, it is a light blue Pokemon with a darker head, and the blue feathers on its head actually extend down to its back and around its neck, making it kind of look like Piplup is wearing a cape. If you can see, it's like he's wearing a little cape, you know. Now, Piplup has two big white ovals on his chest and a relatively normal looking beak with a small light blue marking on top of it, resembling, can you guess what this resembles? It resembles a crown. Very good. Now, it also has flippers for arms to help it swim, and also yellow feet with 3 toes, that are also very, very fit for swimming very fast. Speaking of, Piplup is actually a very strong and skilled swimmer. Unfortunately, it is not a great walker, and will unfortunately fall down quite often when attempting to walk or run a bit too fast. However, it can actually very, very, very briefly fly as well. I'd consider it more gliding down, you know, with its feathers and its wings and anything, but we can consider it flying, if that's nicer as well. Now, where do you think Piplups usually live? Cold climates, yes, they are a penguin. Yeah, usually they live along the seashore in cold climates. Now, Piplups usually have a very strong sense of pride. So, for example, it's really hard for them to accept food from humans, and they might also initially have a hard time bonding with its trainer because they're so prideful, you know. They're like, I can do it all myself. I don't need you to get food for me. I don't need you to teach me how to battle or all these things. Now, speaking of battling, let's get into its moves and abilities, okay? Now, starting with the abilities, Piplup gets Torrent and Competitive. Now, the most common ability it gets is Torrent, which I'm sure you already know. Torrent increases the strength of Piplup's water type moves when it's on a pinch. So, when it has low health, Piplup's water type moves will be around 50% stronger. Now, Competitive is the least common ability, but what it does is that it increases Piplup's special attack when any of its other stats are decreased by its opponents. For example, if an opponent uses any move that would lower any of Piplup's stats, its special attack will increase because of its competitive nature, or competitive ability in this case. By the way, all of Piplup's evolutions also get the same abilities, Torrent and Competitive. Now, when it comes to moves, Piplup actually learns a variety of water type moves, such as Water Gun, Bubble Beam, and other moves like Peck, as you can see. Very, very equipped to use Peck, right here. Very big Peck. And we will look at TM moves and all that stuff when we reach its final evolution, like always, okay, no worries. Last thing to note, on is that Piplup is one of the starter Pokemon that trainers in the Sinnoh region usually get to start their adventure with. The other two being Chimchar and Turtwig. So, are there any other questions about the Piplup? Oh, wait, before you even ask the question, I don't even have the way for you to ask. You want to know what happened to my pinky finger, don't you? Well, you see this Piplup here was actually playing around a bit too much, and Piplups, usually they're smaller than this one, and they don't bite too hard, but this one has a really big beak, because he's a really big boy, and let's just say he put some strength on the bite while playing around, and he hurt me a little bit. It's crazy, to be honest, because Piplup can't even learn the move bite, but this one here might be the first one ever to do it, because it bit me so hard by accident. But for now, hey, no Piplup can learn the move bite. So, let's go, okay? When Piplup gets enough battle experience, it will evolve into Prinplup. Kind of similar name, but not the same Pokemon. Piplup into Prinplup. Now, Prinplup is still just a water type Pokemon, and it is still called the Penguin Pokemon. Quick question: do you know, apart from Piplup and Prinplup, do you know what other Pokemon is called the Penguin Pokemon? Think. What other Penguin Pokemon do you think there is? It's Ice Cube. That makes sense, right? Anyways, Prinplup grows to be about double the size of Piplup, so not much bigger than this one, to be honest, and still has the same color scheme, right? The main difference is the yellow sort of like ridges that it emerge from its beak that go over the back of its head, It now also has 4 white spots on its belly, and the flippers have grown way larger and sturdier. So much, in fact, that it is said that they're able to knock over and snap trees. And a last little fun fact about Prinplup is that they apparently really like to sing, and their singing voice tends to be quite powerful, and is in fact often compared to, I quote, their singing voice, is often compared to a roaring tide. So very powerful voice, very, very cool. So, moves. About the moves, right? Prinplup learns Metal Claw when it evolves, and it can learn a variety of powerful water-type moves, such as Brine, Whirlpool. So, we'll focus more on the moves on the final evolution, okay? Don't worry. Speaking of its evolutions, I think we should move on to the next one, okay? What do you think? So, after getting enough battle experience, Prinplup evolves into... Tell me, who does Prinplup evolve into? Who does it evolve into? If you said Blastoise, you're wrong, and you probably need to revise a bit more before your exams. However, if you said Empoleon, you're correct. So, Empoleon is known as the Emperor Pokemon. I know, that's pretty powerful sounding, right? Anyways, it is now a water and steel type Pokemon, and it is actually the only water and steel type Pokemon to date. Empoleon is again double the size of Prinplup. And, okay, I think we begin with its face, okay? Most notably, the horns that come out of its beak, which look a lot like a trident. Now, this is considered a symbol of leadership and strength for Empoleons, meaning that the leader of the group tends to be the ones that have the biggest horns. Now, a blue fin goes sort of all the way around the front of its neck and down its body. Its flippers / arms / wings are even bigger and very sharp. They're often compared to blades that are being created by a master swordsmith, so they can slice very easily. They're actually very capable of easily cutting through massive chunks of ice. And, they are Empoleon's main weapon to defend its pride. Its feet are now more webbed, and it uses them to swim at very, very, very high speeds. Empoleon is so strong, in fact, that even in ancient times, the people of the Sinnoh region have referred to Empoleon as the Master of the Waves, which I think is a really cool title. Yes, the Sinnoh region, I think back in the day, it was also referred to as the Hisui region, but now it's known as the Sinnoh region, right? And they refer to Empoleon as the Master of the Waves. Very, very powerful title. Now, when it comes to stuff like its moves, right? It actually learns Aqua Jet upon evolving, which is a bit interesting. And it can learn a variety of stronger moves, such as Drill Peck, Hydro Pump, and even Wave Crash. Weirdly enough, considering that now it is also a Steel-type Pokemon, it cannot actually learn any Steel-type moves naturally. It learns Metal Claw as a Prinplup, but it doesn't actually learn any Steel-type moves when it becomes a Steel-type Pokemon, which is a bit strange. Even by a TM, there's only two damaging Steel-type moves that Prinplup can learn, which are Flash Cannon and Steel Beam, which is very little considering it is a Steel-type Pokemon, However, it can learn a lot of other moves from other types, such as, Liquidation, which is a Water-type move, but also to a lot of different types, such as Rock Slide, which is a Rock-type move, Ice Beam and Blizzard, which are Ice-type moves, Earthquake, which is a Ground-type move, Break, a Fighting-type move, Giga Impact, a Normal-type move, Throat Chop, which is a Dark-type move, and even a Grass-type move, such as Grass Knot. So, a variety of very strong moves from a lot of different types, right? And that's just to name a few. There's a bunch more, but obviously, I don't want to bore you too much. It can actually also learn Ghost and Fairy-type moves as well, which is fun. So, I think that's enough of Piplup's moves for today. And I think, honestly, this Piplup, I think he needs a rest, and I think you need a rest from all these lessons as well for a little bit. So, I think we're gonna stop this lesson right here. I think Piplup here needs a rest. He's always laying down. So, to be honest, it's not like he hasn't been getting a rest this entire class, huh, Piplup? Anyways, thank you so much for coming to class. And I think next time we might do a Pokemon that is not a initial partner, a starter Pokemon from any of the regions. So, please keep up with me to help me pick which one we should do next. Bye. Say goodbye, Piplup.